This chart is blowing my mind a little bit. This is the fastest rise in home ownership that we've ever seen. In just a matter of months, we have a huge surge in people buying homes. Are these people crazy? Are they buying at the peak of a housing bubble? Or is it a smart move? Are these people escaping something in order to buy a home? We're going to talk about that, the big city exodus, and more. Hey everybody, JJ here, Bolt to the Bust. It is Wednesday, July 29th, 2020. Thank you for joining in here. Now, if you've been on this channel, you know we've been predicting an exodus from the big cities because of the economic collapse. Now, this has accelerated it. Now we've got many reasons why people are getting out of these over-congested, overpriced big cities. Now, I live near a big city. I'm near San Diego, but I'm not downtown. I'm actually many miles from downtown. I'm out in a suburb of San Diego called La Mesa. I don't even consider it a big city. But we're pretty scrunched in here like sardines. Like my neighbor's house is pretty close. I could basically spit and hit my neighbor's house. But the big city, the downtown areas, they're going to see the biggest declines in home prices here pretty soon. Right now, we're seeing rents drop. We're going to talk about the dropping prices as renters flee. And where are they going? Well, home ownership has surged. A lot of it has to do with these people leaving the city. Home prices have been boosted by these renters that are turning into home buyers. They're leaving the big cities and they're buying homes in smaller cities, more out in the country, more in the suburbs. Let's get into a lot of news I got pulled up here for you. Okay, first of all, remote work. With the infection, we have companies sending their workers home. I am one of them. I love working from home, thank goodness. So this allows me to move anywhere I want to. I know a lot of people are warning me, telling me to get out of California. That's a topic for a different video, why I'm staying here in California. A lot of it has to do with the weather and family mostly. But remote work is causing a city exodus, and it might reshape rural America. Okay, now of course a lot of other things have been happening too. It's more than just remote work. We have all the violence and the uprisings happening in the cities, mostly in the downtown areas. Look at Portland. Look at what happened in Seattle. Look at the crime rates in Chicago, New York, and more. Another reason why people are leaving the cities. So this is a multi-pronged event. You also have just the fact that so many people lost their jobs. They're moving out of the expensive cities into more affordable areas in smaller cities. So many different reasons why this is happening. But let's take a look at some of the numbers on these rents. Rents are dropping across the country on average, but mostly in bigger cities. Let's look at some reports here. Let's start off here in New York. New York rents drop as vacancies increase. Let's take a look here at a chart. This is Manhattan rentals. We look at the dark line there, the black line. The San Francisco Chronicle right here. Bay Area rents plummet in June. Big drops there. Overpriced area to begin with. Article here, CNBC, empty Manhattan apartments reach record levels. Landlords slash rent. So these landlords that are going to be evicting people now that the federal eviction moratorium has ended, will they be able to find renters to replace the people they evicted? So they might be sitting there in a vacant apartment still with these carrying costs, taxes, insurance, maybe a mortgage, HOA fees in some areas, which can be very expensive. And it's not just the big cities. Rental payments decline nationwide. Right? More people are opting to buy, and that's one of the things that's helping keep home prices propped up right now, as all of these big city renters going out to buy a home out of town in the suburbs, in the country, and so forth. Even one of the guys from Shark Tank was talking about it, but he says we're about to see the biggest exodus from cities in 50 years. This is going to be interesting to see what happens to home prices now in the more rural areas and some of the middle America states. A lot of people just moving to escape the danger of the city, the protests, the riots, the high prices, just all the high risk of infection with all the people being so crowded and packed in and elbow to elbow with the big city folks. All right, let's go back to this chart here, the home ownership rate that we looked at the beginning briefly, and we see that the home ownership rate increased to almost 70% during the early to mid 2000s, finally went bust in 2007, 2008, but up to 70%. Of course, a lot of people, they shouldn't have really bought a home because they ended up losing it because people jumped in and they thought home prices would never fall. Home prices never correct, right? That's what the realtor told me. Well, they got a rude awakening, and I don't mean to laugh because many people lost their homes. I know people that lost their homes, but it was obvious to many people that were paying attention. But then corporations, investors, institutions came in and bought swarms of homes, and the home ownership rate dropped all the way down to about 60, a little under 63% there at the low. So homeowners that were once considered homeowners, actually they weren't homeowners, they were renting from the bank under something called a mortgage, but they became renters, as now more investors and people that own second homes and investment companies bought homes and rented them out, in many cases to the same people that used to own those homes. And now look what happened here to the far right just in the past few months. A huge uptick. We have not yet reached where we were before the housing bubble went bust in 07, 08, but as far as the rapidness of the increase, that is a new record for a rise in home ownership, and a lot of it's to do with people leaving the big cities for rural America. All right, now let's go over to LendingTree. Let's talk about the number of mortgage borrowers that have missed a mortgage payment since March. It's actually 1 in 5 mortgage borrowers. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. Remember, the next few months, I think we're going to see unprecedented levels of stimulus, even more than we've seen so far. I think we're just getting started. I think we're going to see wild events unfold, probably mind-blowing changes in the financial system. I'm thinking they're going to have to do something massive to hold this off until after November. Will it be getting rid of taxes? Will it be massive debt forgiveness? Without something major, I know that sounds crazy, but without something major, this thing is going to blow up before November, and I don't think anyone, especially the person sitting in the White House, wants that to happen. But other people will tell you this is all a plan that the man in the White House was put there to cause divisiveness and to get everybody fighting. And look what's happening. The country's more divided now than ever. Again, a subject for a different video. Let's wrap it up here just with a couple what I thought was interesting news tidbits. McDonald's not immune to the infection recession, closing 200 U.S. restaurants. And that's going to be thousands of more jobs lost, more people in the unemployment lines, more people trying to get a paycheck, and there's around 50 million just since the shutdown people that filed for unemployment. Of course, they've been putting it in the news that some jobs have returned, but there's still unemployment filings exceeding 1 million per week. Now, actually, we're going to see in just a couple of days what's happened this past week, but I'm expecting it to be over 1 million again. And a lot of these people, I'm afraid, are not going to be able to dig their way out of this hole that so many people are going to be in, because when you have debt, that's bad enough even when you're employed, but when you have debt and then no job and then you have to live on unemployment, good luck ever getting out of that debt, especially with the interest rates these banks are charging with credit cards, 17, 20, 25% and higher. Millions of people had to resort to subprime car loans with outrageous interest rates. This whole tsunami of debt is going to explode, and I think it's coming up very, very soon, within 6 to 12 months. I don't see how they can hold this off, right? Unless something massive happens again. Massive debt forgiveness. Let the banks fail. Let the whole system collapse. Restart with something new, right? Maybe that's over-optimistic thinking, but I'm thinking that something big is going to have to happen, and hopefully there'll be a mass awakening. The problem is there's so much animosity right now between Americans going against each other. No one's looking up top to see who's running this entire operation and how they've got everybody pointing in the wrong direction. Right? But you and the viewers here on this channel, you know better. Now you are preparing. You've been preparing. We've been preparing. And we've been stacking metal. We've been trying to find out how to ride this bull while at the same time preparing for the bear. But thanks for watching this report today. Let me know what you think about that big upsurge in home ownership. Is it the big city exodus? Is it people just panic buying because they see home prices still rising? I think a lot of it has to do with the big city exodus. And I've read stories and I've talked to people that are seeing many Californians move to Idaho, and that's been happening for a couple years. We've reported on it here, going to Idaho, Oregon, and the outlying states there, Nevada, Arizona. Right, people are getting out of the expensive cities, and now they've got a lot more reasons to want to get out. Thanks for watching this report. Hit that like button, subscribe, come back for more. Talk to you very soon. Bye for now.